Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Maro. Today, I'd like to guide you through a delicious, gentle yoga class with an emphasis on the spine, because you are only as young and healthy as your spine is supple and strong. So today, let's move the spine in all the directions that it can go. A little bit of forward bending, back bending, side bending, twisting, breathing into the spine to lengthen it and create space, and doing some strengthening poses as well. So jump into something comfortable. Go ahead and get a blanket for under your head and 2 blocks or maybe 2 pillows in the house. Something that looks like 2 blocks will do great. And let's jump right in. We'll start lying down. You can place the blocks to the side. We'll use them later. And today, let's lie down in constructive rest, which is legs bent, feet on the mat, a little wider than the hips. Allow the knees to gently fall in towards each other. They're supporting each other up. So here's one way that you can lie down. If you don't like this, you can place a bolster or a pillow under your knees and just straighten the legs out. That's another great option too. So let's settle in here, lying down, get nice and comfortable. You can close your eyes if that works for you, or just soften your gaze. And I always like to begin my practice with cleansing breaths. It's a great way to help me release distractions, arrive in my body. So join me. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and sigh the exhale. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Open your mouth and release. Breathing in through the nose. One more. Open your mouth. Let it all go. Place the hands on the belly. Maybe one hand on the belly, one hand at the low ribs. And let's start to stretch the breath out in both directions, lengthening and deepening the inhalations and exhalations. And you can breathe in and out of the nose today. That is preferred. If you can't, don't worry. You can use the mouth anytime that you need to. So with each inhalation, see that the hands move. Allow the belly and the ribs to expand in all the directions. And as you exhale, the hands gently fall back down. Breathing in deeply, belly expands, ribs expand, hands move. Breathing out completely, everything just gently hugs back in. So let's take a few deep breaths together. Exhale fully wherever you are. Inhaling deeply through the nose into the low belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, ribs, low belly. Inhale deeply into the low belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale, collarbones, ribs, low belly. Now breathe into your low back, mid back, upper back. Exhale, upper back, mid back, low back. One more breath, inhaling in through the tailbone. Let's breathe up the spine to the crown of your head. Exhale fully down the spine, just tracing the spine all the way down. Awesome work. You can release the hands down. Let's find a full body stretch. Arms overhead. Stretch out the legs. You might find some organic movement here in the wrists and the feet and the toes and your fingers. Breathe in deeply, as if you could breathe into your toes and your fingertips. And exhale to slowly hug the knees in. And rock side to side a few times. Release the feet down. Let's go mats width apart. So one foot on the edge of the one side of the mat, the other foot on the other edge of the mat, maybe arms out to a T. And let's allow the knees to drop side to side, left and right. Just ease your way into this. Notice how things feel today. Checking in with the feet, the ankles. And notice how your knees are doing as you shift side to side. Feeling inner and outer thighs. And also your hips. Moving up the body, you'll notice how this impacts the low belly, low back. And if you're really sensitive here, you'll notice some movement in the mid and upper back, just from the way that you're moving your knees. Come back to neutral. Let's glue the legs together, feet together, and then lift and shift your hips a little to the left, just a couple inches, and you'll drop the legs to the right. So you'll try to stack them to the best of your abilities. And let's find a reclined twist. Right hand can guide the left thigh down. I like to pull a little here for more traction and encourage that left shoulder, left arm to rest on the mat. If it doesn't actually come down to the mat, then you can always place a folded blanket under your left shoulder. Give it a little support. And let's breathe here. Let's find the spine with your mind's eye and breathe up and down the spine. 2 deep breaths here in such a way that you're creating space between the vertebra, between the vertebral bodies and intervertebral discs, which is like beads on a necklace. Imagine that you're breathing space between the beads. And between those hard beads on the necklace, there's these tiny miniature jelly donuts. Those are your intervertebral discs. So one more breath. Breathe some space here. We'll slowly come out of this back to neutral, knees up to the ceiling, come back to center, and we'll glue the legs together, feet together, lift and shift the hips a little to the right. We'll let the legs fall to the left, twisting to the other side. Maybe the left hand wants to guide the right thigh down, a little pulling action. Really let go of that right shoulder, right arm. Let it move in the opposite direction of your knees. And you can place a blanket under the shoulder if you find that it's just not resting on the mat. And let's take 2 deep breaths here again, bringing your attention to the spine. And let's breathe length, as if you could get taller here in this shape, even lying down. You're breathing into the back body, creating space between the beads on the necklace and the jelly donuts that are in between the beads on the necklace. One more breath. Really breathe into those back ribs. You got this. Good work. Come back through neutral. Just pause for a moment, check in, see how things feel. Maybe a cleansing breath is something that your body's asking for. Do that. And I say we move through some bridging. Let's wake up the glutes, strengthen the bum because it helps protect your low back. All right, so find this bridge stance. Legs are bent, feet on the mat. Feet are about hips distance apart, maybe a little wider. You see what feels good for you. And then your heel bones can be as close to your sits bones as you want. Okay, arms by your sides. And let's find our breath first. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhale fully from the nose or the mouth. And on your next inhale, you'll press into the feet, lift the hips, and come into bridge as high as you want and squeeze the booty. Just a little squeeze. Exhaling to lower all the way back down. So inhaling to press into the feet, lift the hips, squeeze the bum. Exhale to release. Let's flow a bunch more rounds. Move with your own breath here. Being mindful that you're pressing equally into both feet, and see what it feels like to press into the entire foot. Maybe what it feels like to press in just the heels. If you press into the whole foot, you're getting hamstrings and glutes. If you come into a low bridge and you only press into your heels, you're getting more glutes. So see which one you prefer, which one feels better, which one your body is asking for. How much to squeeze the glutes? Maybe a 5 out of 10. You don't want to over-clench, squeeze too much. Just a good little squeeze, a 5 out of 10 here. Let's do a few more rounds. Check in with the spine. See how your back feels while you're moving through this pose. One more. And we'll release this down. Pause for a moment. And then do whatever your body is asking you to do. Mine wants me to hug my knees in. Maybe you would prefer some windshield wipers. Do that or something else. And release the feet down wherever you are. Let's straighten the legs and find a mountain pose. So our legs are straight. We're in Tadasana, lying down on the mat. Some action in the legs, a gentle pressing of the heels in the mat, toes up to the ceiling. Feel your body in this shape. And let's take a breath here, inhaling maybe in through the feet as if they have their own set of lungs, all the way up the body to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, soften and relax everything all the way down, out through the feet. Let's do that one more time. Inhale deeply through the feet, up the legs, up the torso, crown of the head. Exhale fully down the body. Relax everything along the way. On your next inhale, float the arms up and over the head. Hug the right knee in as you exhale. And let's continue to flow here. Breathing in, release the leg, arms overhead. Exhale, hug the left knee. Inhale deeply, continue to flow side to side. Use your own rhythm, your own breath. And if you want to make this a little bit of a core activation, when you exhale, hug the belly in and up just before you hug the leg in. So really engage that core just as you're exhaling. Exhaling belly in and up, use that to hug the leg in. And if this is okay on the neck and the head, you can even bring forehead towards the knee as you exhale. That's optional. Inhaling to relax everything back down, stretch long. Exhale, hug, forehead to knee. Let's do one more on each side. And you'll end with hugging the left knee in and stay there. Just give it a little squeeze. Relax the foot. Take one deep breath here. And from here, we'll twist and turn to the right. So right hand will guide the left leg over to the right. You might have to shimmy the hips a little, stacking the hips, stacking the glutes, finding a deeper twist. So right leg is straight, left leg twisting to the right. Encourage that left shoulder to rest back down on the mat, maybe with a folded blanket underneath. If this is too much, you can come back to what we did earlier, which is stacking the legs in a reclined twist. So one more breath wherever you are, inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. Coming back through neutral, release the leg down. Pause for a moment before we hug that right knee in. Inhale deeply, arms overhead. Exhale, hug the right knee. Stay there, give it a little squeeze. Relax the right foot. Straighten that left leg out. Relax your face. And twisting and turning to the left. Left hand guiding the right knee over to the left. Maybe you stack the hips, right arm, right shoulder, dropping back down to the floor. Hold and breathe. Locate the spine. See how it feels. Breathe into the back body. Create space. And slowly come out of this back through center. And let's hug both knees in. Rock side to side a few times. And let's allow the feet to go up to the ceiling, fingertips up to the ceiling, and find rotation in the wrists and the ankles. And change the direction, go the other way. Hardest part of the class right here is figuring out what the other way is. And shake the fingers out or flick the fingers and notice how the toes want to do something similar, but they can't. All right, shake things out, shake it out. Warming up for when we come up. Cool, reach the heel bones up to the ceiling, let the arms go overhead. Take a big breath in here. Exhale to hug the knees in. 2 more like this. Big breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, hug. Last one, breathing in deeply. Breathing out fully, hug. Fantastic. We're ready to come up to hands and knees. So fall to one side, press yourselves up, and we'll need a few things to take with us. Grab that blanket that you had under your head. Let's use that for under the knees. Okay. And make sure you have your blocks handy. We'll place those at the top of the mat, one on each side. We'll use that in a little bit. So let's find neutral tabletop here. Now, first, I want you to come onto your knees and spread the fingers really wide. Really, really, really wide. Okay, cool. This is how I want you to place them on the mat. So come into tabletop, spreading the fingers again in the right hand, the left hand. Awesome. Knees under hips, hands in line with the face. You can always place them under your shoulders, but I like to create a little more space. Tuck those toes so we get an added foot stretch. Spread the fingers. Know that you're in control of how much weight you put in your hands. You can always lean the hips back a little if you need to relieve the wrists of all of that weight, okay? So let's breathe in deeply to the right and a little bit forward. You're in control of how far you go. Exhale left and all the way back as if you could sit on your heels. Finding a toe stretch, a foot stretch. Breathing in right and forward. Breathing out left and back. Good, let's do one more in that direction. Let's go the other way. Inhaling left and forward. Keep spreading the fingers. Exhaling right and back. Awesome, 2 more like that. Left and forward. Breathe in. Right and back. Breathe out. 1 more. Come back through neutral tabletop. You can untuck the toes if you want. And let's find some cat-cows. So drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. This is where you inhale. And you can exhale to neutral if you have osteoporosis in the spine. That's the only contraindication. You don't want to round the spine if you have known osteoporosis. Otherwise, round the spine, releasing the head and neck. Inhaling for cow pose. Exhale to neutral or cat. And just flow here using your own breath. And I go nice and slow. And I'll teach you a cat-cow wave is what I call it. So we can isolate the vertebra in the spine, get some really good mobility and flexibility. So the next time you're in cow pose, I want you to think of like a wave in a stadium. You're going to start with the hips, tuck the tailbone, slowly, vertebra by vertebra. So we're working with each bead in the necklace, rounding the low back, slowly rounding the mid back, and then the upper back and the head and neck release last. And then from here, from cat pose, to get into cow pose, you're going to work from the hips again. Begin to untuck the tailbone, arching low back, mid back, upper back, bringing your chest and your head up last. Good. So see if you can isolate each part of the spine. It feels like some of them are fused together and stuck, and there's not a lot of mobility, and that's okay. Just work with each area with patience, breathing into each part of the spine here. Patience and so much awareness. You can even close your eyes. Let's do 2 more. Awesome job, everyone. Let's give the wrists a little break. So you might come back into child's pose with toes together, knees wide, or the knees can be together. You can rest on the block. Give those wrists a little break. If you don't like child's pose, you can do puppy pose. Just lift the hips up. Bring that block with you. Allow the hands to reach forward and wide. All right, just pause and rest. Noticing how the back feels. And see if you can breathe into the back body. Just like we did in the beginning of class, as if you could breathe into your low back, mid back, breathing into those back ribs, and upper back. Breathing out, allow everything to just soften, melting away any tension. Awesome. We'll come back up and find a little low lunge movement here. So step the right foot forward, grab your blocks. You can also use a higher setting. Great way to bring the floor closer to you. So check in with the hips. Let's make sure that they're squared forward, right? Your clock face is facing forward. It might feel like the right hip needs to move back, left hip forward, shoulders away from ears, and take a big breath here in this low lunge. And as you exhale, shift the hips back, releasing the head. Inhaling to rock forward, shoulders away from ears, exhaling to shift the hips back. Awesome. One more like this before we add more movement. So the next time you rock forward and inhale, left hand down, right arm up, twist to the right. Exhaling, right hand will come back and find the block, send the hips back, half splits. Let's flow like this, adding the twisting movement. Inhaling, twist to the right. Exhaling, half splits. Let's do one more. The next time you inhale, come all the way up, low lunge. Tuck the back toes for some extra support. Relax the low ribs down if you're a rib thruster like me. Let's rotate the wrists in one direction. Get a little break here. Rotate them the other way. And then I want you to place your hands around your rib cage, okay? Low rib area where you can still feel your ribs. And if this is too much and it doesn't work, you can always just hug yourself like this so that your hands, left hand is holding right side of the rib cage, right hand's holding left side. So Pick something that works, but I want you to be able to feel the lower part of the ribs. So here's what we're going to do. Breathe deeply, just like we did in the beginning of class, into the belly, into the ribs. I want you to try to feel the rib cage expand. And what I really want you to feel is those back ribs. Like, see if you're holding your hands like this around your ribs. I want you to feel like your thumbs are moving so that you can try your best to breathe into those back ribs, creating some space. Because when you breathe into the back ribs, you're creating space in the spine. That's what the spine loves, right? Creating space in the beads in the necklace that has the beads and the jelly donuts. Try that one more breath. Cool. Release the arms down. Let's take one breath here. Low lunge. Breathe into the shape. And release this down. Come back through table. Let's do a few more cat-cows here. Find that cat-cow wave that I taught you. So starting in cow pose, tuck the tailbone, rounding low back, mid back, upper back, releasing the head and neck last. Inhaling, untuck the tailbone, arching low back, mid back, upper back, head comes up last. So try that 2 more times. And then if you'd like, you can add any organic movement here. So let's find some organic movement. Shifting side to side. Shifting the hips or the shoulders side to side. You're finding circles with the spine. Anything that feels good. Close your eyes. Remember, you are only as young and healthy as the spine is supple and strong. And when you think of suppleness, I want you to think of a flexible willow branch. Good. Come back through neutral. Let's grab our blocks. We'll do the other side. Stepping the left leg through low lunge, shoulders away from ears. Check in with your hips. Maybe the left hip needs to move a little back, right hip forward so it's squared to the front of the room. And breathe in here, low lunge, rock forward as far as you can. Exhaling, send the hips back on a straight line, releasing the head. Breathing in, come forward. Breathing out to shift back. One more like this before we add the twist. And the next time you inhale, right hand down, left hand up, twist to the left. Exhaling, release the left hand down, send the hips back. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in, twist to the left. Exhaling to find half splits. Last one, nice and slow. Mindfully moving through this. The next time you inhale, come all the way up, low lunge. Relax the low ribs down. Check in with that front knee. Make sure it's tracking over the toes and flick the fingers. Cool. Let's do the same thing that we did on the other side. Wrap your fingers around your low ribs, or you can hug yourself like this to feel them. And breathe deeply. Breathe in such a way that the ribs expand. You might even look down. Just make sure the belly's expanding. Ribs are expanding as you inhale. See if you can feel the back ribs expand. That's where the magic is. That's what the spine loves. You breathe into the back ribs. You're creating all that space in the spine. Ooh, feel like you're getting taller with your breath. One more. Excellent. Let's bring the fingertips up again. One more breath here. Low lunge. Exhale, hands down. Beautiful job. All right, everyone. From here, you can find a child's pose, puppy pose, or a downward facing dog. Optional. You pick whatever works for you today. I will cue down dog. So from tabletop, tuck the toes. Hands in line with the face or maybe a little more forward. Lift the hips, send them up and back as you come into your upside down V shape. And it might feel good to walk your dog out here, bending one knee, pressing the other heel into the mat. Switching sides, bending the other knee, pressing the other heel into the mat. Just move side to side like this, finding a little movement in your down dog. And maybe you're ready for some stillness. Really release the head and neck. You don't need to hold it up. Spread those fingers. Remember we talked about that earlier? Spread the fingers. Pressing into all 10 fingertips. Push the floor away. Hug the armpits into the chin. Micro bend in the knee, both knees. Push the bum up to the ceiling. Breathe deeply. Wherever you are, one more breath. And we'll drop the knees if you're in down dog. My child's pose and puppy people, come on up. We'll come onto the belly. If you have a crunchy low back, you can use a folded blanket for under your low belly, like right around this area. Let me show it to you before I remove it. Actually, I'll keep it. Why not? All right, let's do a half locust, a half shalabhasana. Actually, I'm going to use this for under my forehead instead. So you might need 2 blankets or maybe one's enough. You decide what feels good. Reach, so arms are down by your sides and your fingertips are reaching for your feet. Good, shoulders away from ears. And let's find some action in the legs. Point the toes or press the tops of the feet in the mat. Squeeze your bum. Yes, squeeze the bum. Shoulders away from the ears. As you inhale, reach the upper body up, reaching the fingertips to the feet. As you exhale, lower back down. Good. Here's where we find the strength portion of the class. Breathing in to come up. Breathing out to lower, strengthening the back body. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Good. Keep flowing here. Notice how strong you are in your back. And you can continue with this half shalabhasana, half locust pose, or feel free to include the legs in this, lifting the legs a little as you come up and lowering everything as you move back down. Let's do a few more. One more. Awesome job. You can rest. If you don't already have a pillow for yourself, you can make one with your hands. Bend the knees, let the feet flop side to side, left and right. I say we do one more round. How about you? Release the feet down. This is so good for you. You got this all. Half locust or full locust. I'll let you decide. Arms by your sides. Reach the fingertips to the feet. Press the tops of the feet in the mat, or maybe it feels better thinking that you're pointing your toes. Squeeze the bum. Inhale to come up. Reach the fingertips to the feet. Shoulders away from ears. Exhale to lower. Let's do a few more. Feel really strong in the back body. We targeted the suppleness piece. Breathing into the back, stretching, twisting, back bending, forward bending. Now let's find that strength, strengthening the muscles of the back so that we don't just have flexibility, we also have strong back body. Let's support a healthy spine and a back. Let's do 2 more. You could do this. Squeeze the bum. Use the breath to lift you. And release this down. You can make a pillow for yourself if you don't already have something under your forehead. And let the feet flop side to side. I'm doing both. I have a folded blanket and my hands. Cool. All right, one last thing here. You can push that blanket or towel aside. Let's come into Sphinx pose. Come onto your forearms, hands, Feel like you could drag yourself on the mat, shoulders away from ears. Okay, squeeze the bum. If this doesn't feel good on your body, you can lower a little down and just come into a baby cobra. Okay, always an option. You don't have to come up so high. Wherever you are, take a big inhale. As you exhale, you're going to twist and turn to the right. See if you can look at your feet. Good. Breathing in forward, breathing out, twist and turn to the left. See if you can see your feet over your shoulder. Good. Inhale deeply. Let's do one more. Exhale, twist and turn to the right. Inhale deeply. Exhale, twist and turn to the left. Good. Come back through center. And now we're ready to push back to child's pose, our counter pose, for a few breaths. Grab your props. You can put your blanket back out under your knees. A block under the forehead or a pillow feels really nice. Let's all take a few sighing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Let's do one more. Inhaling deeply. Open your mouth, let it all go. Check in with your back, your spine, see how things feel. Hope you feel a little freer. Maybe less tension, a little more space. And picture me walking close to you. I place my hands on your back and I whisper in your ear, breathe into my hands. See if you can breathe in your back body in such a way that you could make my hands move. Let's get a little taller and longer, even in this shape, just using our breath. One more breath. Breathe into my hands. Beautiful effort, everyone. We'll come up and lie down for just a few more poses before we do some breathing and meditation to end the class. So take the blanket with you. You can lie back down. And once you get there, let's find a 5-pointed star. So legs out in a V shape, wider than the mat, arms overhead, V shape with the arms. Just feel yourself in this shape. Take a breath here as if you could breathe into the fingertips and the toes. And then pay attention to the left leg and the left foot. And bring the left leg and the left foot all the way over to meet the right leg, right foot. Maybe you hook the feet together. We're going to do the same thing with the upper body. You might need to shimmy your torso a little, but let the left arm come over and say hello to the right arm. We're finding a side bend, side body stretch, kind of like a banana shape. All right, so you might need to lift the upper body a little to shimmy yourself. So you can make this C shape with the spine, and the right hand can hold onto the left wrist. The key is that you have both shoulders on the mat, so you're not lifting up, both shoulders are anchored. You're just coming into a side body stretch, lying down. Okay, once you find that, you feel a nice stretch in your outer leg, outer hip maybe. Feeling a stretch in the left side of the torso, maybe even up the left arm. Let's take 2 directional breaths here. Inhaling deeply in through the left foot as if it had its own set of lungs, up the left leg, all the way up the body, out through the left fingertips. Exhaling down the left side of the body. Allow everything to relax. One more, inhaling deeply in through the left leg, up the body. Exhaling down the left side of the body, out through the left foot. Softening along the way. And from here, open back up. 5-pointed star again. Just check in. See how this felt. You might take a deep breath here before we invite the right leg, right foot to come and say hello to the left leg, left foot. Maybe you hook the feet together. Same thing. Right arm's going to come over to meet the left arm. Maybe the left hand wants to hold on to the right wrist. You might need to shimmy a little so you can feel the side body stretch. So you'll feel a subtle stretch down the right side of the leg, right outer hip possibly. Even the right side of the torso, I feel a little tug. And maybe even up into the arm. So make sure this is a whole body yes. And you're subtly making this C shape with the spine. And let's find our directional breathing. Inhaling through the right foot, up the right leg, right side of the torso, out the right fingertips. Exhaling all the way down the right side. Softening a little along the way. One more breath like this. Inhale, right foot, right leg, right side of the torso, right fingertips. Exhaling down the right side, allowing everything to relax a little more. Good job. Open back up. 5-pointed star. Release the hands down. And let's just find a rest. Just for a minute. We won't be here too long. Let's allow the body a moment to just be. Let's allow the spine, the body to absorb the practice. This is such an important part of yoga. Shavasana. I like to imagine waves of relaxation washing over me when I do Shavasana. So imagine wave after wave entering through the crown of your head, just washing over your whole body, reaching the toes, inviting your entire being to melt a little more, to release tension, to soften. Relax your face. Invite the jaw to relax. You might separate the teeth. Relax your forehead. Feel your whole body warm and heavy. There's another part of the body that's tense and tight. Breathe some space into it. Ask it to release for you. Invite it to rest. And you can slowly start to move fingers and toes. Feel really good about allowing yourself this time to move and breathe and rest. Now we just have a few more things. Here's the best part of the class. Inhaling, reach the arms out, find a full body stretch again. Exhaling to hug the knees in. Rocking side to side. You might lean to one side. Gently pressing yourself up to find a seat. And today I'd like to show you something new, another way that I like to sit, straddling either pillows or blocks. I like to stack 2 blocks and I place the blanket on top of the blocks so that they're soft, right? Because otherwise it's really hard to straddle blocks. You might have a really big pillow, a decorative pillow that you can straddle. The reason why I want to show this to you today is because this position helps us get into neutral. It helps get the pelvis in neutral. And we want that because it honors all the curves of the spine, right? So even if you are straddling, still lean to one side, pull the flesh away, do the same thing on the other side. Or you can sit on a pillow, cross-legged. Just be sure that your hips are higher than the knees. All right, so notice the curves in the spine. You can feel the low back. There's a little curve there, right? Relax the shoulders and pretend like you have, let's say, an eye bag or a small bag of beans on the crown of your head. And imagine that you're pushing into it, just getting nice and long, just stretching the spine out. Awesome. Let's combine our pranayama and our meditation. So begin to breathe deeply. You can place your hands on your belly to help you, give you something to encourage you to breathe into. So you breathe deeply. So inhaling, let everything expand with your in-breath. Exhaling to release. Breathing in deeply. Let's breathe up the spine to the crown of the head. Exhaling, trace the spine with your mind's eye all the way down, breathing out of the tailbone. So let's breathe up and down the spine for a pranayama. Inhaling, breathing up the spine. Breathing out, trace the spine all the way down, breathing out of the tailbone. Good. Continue like this. Inhaling for 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. Breathing up the spine. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling down the spine. 3, 2, 1. One more like this. Inhale deeply. 3, 2, 1. Exhale fully. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful breathing. Relax the effort. Soften or close your eyes. And bring your attention to your sits bones. Those bony protrusions at the base of your hips. Right? You'll feel them pressing into whatever you're sitting on. And imagine these long, strong roots just growing out of your sits bones. Moving down into the floor, breaking the foundation of whatever building or home you're in. Imagine them finding the earth, going deep into the earth, maybe even to the center of the earth, just wrapping themselves around the center. Solid foundation. And now whatever goes down must also come up. So imagine your tree now, the tree of your spine with its solid roots is growing upwards. There's space being created between the vertebra, right? The beads on the necklace with the jelly donuts, space between them as you get taller. The tree growing upwards out through the crown of your head. This lofty treetop that's reaching for the sun. So you have your roots going into the earth through your sits bones. You have your tree growing up through your spine. Nice and tall. So I'll let you sit with that here for just a moment. Let that be your visual imagery here for your meditation. I invite you to bring your palms together, hands at heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you feel a little freer in the spine and your back. You are awesome. Namaste.